People keep on saying, the mainstream media keep on saying that battery packs will only last a few years, then you'll need a new one. EVs are expensive because you're just going to need a new battery pack. Well, is that true? No. Utter garbage. There are so many Teslas now with more than 200,000 miles, more than 320,000 kilometers. There's so many I've lost count. I was following some people that have done this distance, and now it's just like, what's the point? There's literally hundreds of Tesla EVs with old school battery technology in them, old school battery packs, not the new LFPs, not the new 4680 cells that have done this number. Now, I just saw one that's done 600,000 kilometers. That's a Tesla Model 3 with 18650 battery cells. Not even lithium iron phosphate cells, which should last even longer than that. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. It's great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. My name's Sam Evans, and I'm not bought by the media. I'm not bought by the mighty power of the negative EV spin click, which is, yes, your battery pack is going to die. It's going to need to be replaced. I like facts, and facts show that actually EVs now are lasting longer on average than gasoline-powered cars. In fact, significantly longer. In fact, so long that people are actually taking battery packs out of cars, out of buses even, yes, electric buses, out of all kinds of vehicles, and using them after the car is just dead and buried because it's been driven for so long for energy storage projects for their homes. Can you do that with a gasoline or an internal combustion engine vehicle with a diesel vehicle? No, you can't. It's useless. When they get that old, you just throw them out. They go in the garbage. So there's this whole myth, this whole perception that EVs are bad for the environment. The reality is the complete opposite is true. The reality here is that even older EVs that have inferior technology to today's electric cars, in fact, remember, many cars that you buy today have LFP batteries in them, which degrade at a slower rate from what we've seen so far. Many of them do. I mean, the standard Tesla Model 3, the standard range Tesla Model 3, the standard range Tesla Model Y, which makes up around 60% of Tesla sales worldwide, comes with a lithium iron phosphate battery pack, which you can charge to 100% and discharge to nearly zero without getting really any battery loss. Now, speaking of battery losses, that's a question worth asking. How much range will your electric car have after you've done 200,000 miles, which is, like I said, 320,000 kilometers? Now, that's the real question. The real question here is not, is your battery going to die, after a few years? Because that's FUD. That's just false information. The real question here is, how many kilometers will you be able to travel, or how many miles will you be able to travel in your Tesla or your MG? Remember, the base model MG4 now has an LFP pack. At BYD, all their cars have LFP packs. There's a number of cars now with LFP. Ford just said, we're building an LFP factory with CATL's battery technology, licensing it, but we're going to build that in North America. So in China now, around 65% of all EVs sold have LFP battery packs. So how long will those packs last? Well, we don't really know for sure. Newer battery packs seem to be better thermal management, the packs last longer. So what I did is I had a look at about 30 different cars that I could find online where the owners were able to actually disclose how much their battery had died after driving for 200,000 miles or 320,000 kilometers. Incredibly, the average was only 15% battery degradation. 15%. That means they still have 85% battery capacity left after having driven for an incredible 200,000 miles. Now, I personally have had to replace my engine in my cars, my gasoline-powered cars in the past a couple of times after they'd done between 200 to 250,000 kilometers. So that means that realistically, your battery will still give you 85% of its original range when I've just had to replace my engine, right? You've still got a battery pack giving you 85%. Now keep in mind, the power of your gasoline-powered car. By the time you've done 200,000 miles in your gasoline-powered car, on average, you're going to have around 15 to 20% less power. That's just normal. You see it on Top Gear, you see it on all these programs all the time. They say, how many horses has it lost in these older cars? Because you lose power over time. EVs lose less power over time than what internal combustion engine vehicles do, but both cars lose power. So the point here is that yes, EVs, they age. Battery degradation is a real thing, but it's much smaller than you think. Engine degradation is a real thing, and it's probably more significant than people are giving it credit. No one's really tracking the average distance traveled by gasoline-powered cars, but we know in the US, the average distance traveled in a gasoline, diesel-powered car before it's scrapped is actually surprisingly small. It's actually only around 170,000 miles. Average across the entire industry. Meaning, from what I can see so far, in a modern electric car, your battery pack will still be going really strong, well and truly after an equivalent gasoline or diesel-powered car is on its last legs or it's being scrapped and turned into junk, basically. What does this mean for the future? Well, remember, battery manufacturers are constantly focusing on improving their batteries, getting to this 1 million mile mark, enabling people to be able to drive for that distance. Are we going to get there? Are we there yet? The truth is, no one really knows, because EVs haven't been around long enough to actually prove whether or not today's batteries can last for that long. But we do know that batteries are now routinely lasting easily for over 200,000 miles with only 15, maximum 20% battery loss. Now, obviously, that battery loss will change depending on how you use the car. If you supercharge on a fast charger, you're going to lose more power. You're going to lose more range quicker. If you don't supercharge, if you do most of your charging at home, the battery pack will last longer. If it's a lithium iron phosphate battery, you really want to charge that battery to 100% at least once a week, because that actually helps the battery pack. And Tesla even say that when you buy your standard range Model 3 or Model Y. Now, if it's an NCM chemistry battery pack, then you really want to charge to 80%. Then you'll be able to maintain your battery health for longer. Now, if you're looking at a car like a Nissan Leaf, an older model, well, this is a completely different story. If you're looking at a car that doesn't have good thermal management, the battery pack will not last anywhere near as long. So if you want to know about all those cars that will last longer than others because they have better battery thermal management or better batteries, make sure you subscribe and I'll keep you updated. Thanks for watching and have a great day.